What's up, everybody? Todd Tanner here for Wrestling News Now, continuing with part 2 of the saga of Matt Riddle. In the last profile episode, I left you with the UFC part of Riddle's life. Now we're moving on to part 2, where he was let go by the UFC. And how does all this tie into the wrestling world? Well, stay tuned and you'll find out. Well, now Matt decided to move on to the MMA, mixed martial arts portion of the UFC, Bellator. So shortly after being released from the Ultimate Fighting Championship, Riddle signed a multi-fight deal with Texas-based promotion Legacy Fighting Championship. However, on May 18, 2013, it was announced that Riddle instead joined the Bellator MMA roster after his Legacy contract had been purchased by the promotion. Riddle was expected to compete in the Bellator's welterweight tournament during their 9th season, which begins in the fall of 2013. However, Riddle cracked his rib and had to pull out of the tournament and subsequently retired from MMA fighting due to financial reasons. A few weeks later, Riddle came out of retirement and was expected to fight at Bellator 109. Once again, Riddle pulled out of that fight and was subsequently released. Riddle fought fellow former UFC fighter Michael Cooper in the co-main event of Titan FC 27 on February 28, 2014. Riddle won by second round a guillotine choke. Riddle was expected to face MMA legend Jose Landy Chance for the vacant welterweight championship at Titan FC 29 on August 22nd, 2014. However, Landy Johns was forced out of the bout due to visa issues and was replaced by UFC veteran Ben Saunders. However, Riddle was forced out of the bout due to injury and was replaced by the man he was originally scheduled to face, Jose Landy Johns. After that, Riddle decided, you know what, I've had enough of the UFC and I've had enough of the MMA. Why not try professional wrestling? He debuted on the independent circuit from 2018 to 2014. On October 29th, 2014, it was reported that Riddle was training for a career in professional wrestling. Riddle made his professional debut on February 7, 2015 at the Monster Factory in Paulsboro, New Jersey. In July 2015, he won the Monster Factory Heavyweight Championship. On September 15, 2015, it was announced that Riddle had signed with the World Wrestling Network to work the October Evolve events. Riddle later confirmed he had taken part in a WWE tryout, which led them to setting up the booking with Evolve. On January 24, 2016, Riddle won Evolve Style Battle Tournament. On April 8th, it was reported that Riddle had signed a contract with Evolve's parent company, WWN. On September 3rd, Riddle made his debut for Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, entering the 2016 Battle of Los Angeles tournament, from which he was eliminated in his first round match by Kyle O'Reilly. In October 2016, Riddle took on Cody Rhodes at New York promotion House of Glory show titled Unbreakable in a losing effort. On January 15, 2017, Riddle defeated Rampage Brown to win the Progress Atlas Championship. Riddle debuted for Revolution Pro Wrestling on January 21st, unsuccessfully challenging Katsuzori Shibata for the British Heavyweight Championship. On February 11th, at CZW 18, Riddle faced David Starr in an interpromotional champion versus champion match, with Riddle defeating Progress Wrestling's Atlas Championship and Starr defending WXW's Shotgun Championship. The match ended in a double disqualification, and neither championship changed hands. On April 1st, Riddle defeated 5 other men to become the inaugural WWN champion. On August 5th, Riddle won the Scenic City Invitational Tournament. On October 20th, Riddle and Jeff Cobb, known collectively as the Chosen Bros, defeated the Lucha Brothers, Ray Phoenix and Pt.2, L0M for the PGW World Tag Team Championship. Wow. They retained the titles until April 20th, 2018, when they lost them against the Rascals, Zachary Wentz and Damon Xavier. On April 15, 2018, Riddle defeated Zack Sabre Jr. at Evolve 102 to win the Evolve Championship. On August 4th, Riddle lost the Evolve Championship to Shane Strickland at Evolve 108. On July 31st, 2018, it was reported by Uproxx that Riddle had signed a contract with WWE. On April 18th, Riddle appeared at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 4 and was identified by the event's commentators as WWE's newest signing. Riddle's NXT debut was on October 31st edition when he successfully defeated Luke Manzini's on November 17, 2018 on the pre-show of NXT TakeOver. War Games 2, Cassius Ohno interrupted a Riddle interview when the show started. Riddle challenged Ohno to a match and defeated him in 6 seconds, winning the fastest match in NXT history. Riddle and Ohno had a rematch at NXT TakeOver Phoenix. Phoenix, where Riddle made Ohno submit with a series of elbow strikes to the head. In 2019, WWE Network released a documentary on his wrestling career and entry into NXT entitled Arrival, Matt Riddle. Throughout March, Riddle would start a feud with the NXT North American champion, Velveteen Dream. Remember him? I'll talk about him in another video. On April 5th at NXT TakeOver New York, Riddle challenged Velveteen Dream for the NXT North American Championship, but was unsuccessful, ending his undefeated streak in NXT. In July, Riddle started a feud with the returning Killian Dane. On the August 7th episode of NXT, Riddle was supposed to face Dane, but it never happened. As they brawled before the match happened, the two brawled at NXT TakeOver Toronto and eventually faced each other on the August 21st episode of NXT, where Dane was victorious, but Riddle attacked Dane after the match. On the premiere episode of NXT on the USA Network on September 18th, Riddle fought Dane in a street fight, but ended in a no contest. A week later, on the September 25th episode of NXT, Riddle again fought Dane in a street fight, but the winner would be the #1 contender for the NXT Championship, which Riddle won by submission. On the October 2nd episode of NXT, Riddle unsuccessfully challenged NXT champion Adam Cole. On the November 1st episode of SmackDown, Riddle and Keith Lee were one of the many NXT wrestlers to invade the show, confronting and ultimately attacking Sami Zayn. Later that night, Riddle joined Triple H and the rest of the NXT roster as they declared war on both Raw and SmackDown and vowed to win the Survivor Series brand warfare. In November, Riddle would start feuding with Finn Balor. On the November 18th episode of NXT, Finn Balor insulted the NXT roster as all boys who can't take a beating, especially mentioning Johnny Gargano and Matt Riddle. Riddle attacked Balor, who retreated. Riddle was originally part of Team Simpa episode of NXT. Riddle got taken off of Team Simpa due to Riddle having a match with Balor at War Games. At the event, Riddle lost to Balor. The following night at Survivor Series, Riddle was part of Team NXT in a losing effort to Team SmackDown, also involving Team Raw. During the match, Riddle eliminated Randy Orton with a roundup pin before being laid out with an RKO that caused him to be eliminated by King Corbin. Riddle participated in the Royal Rumble match at the namesake pay-per-view and entered at number 23, but was eliminated by Corbin in 41 seconds. Wow, that's a quick pin. Would you agree? On January 10, 2020 episode of NXT, the participants of the 2020 Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic were announced, with Riddle and Pt.2 being announced as surprising participants. They would later take on the name of the Bruiserweights, a portmanteau of Riddle's original Bro nickname and Dunn's Bruiserweight nickname. Together, they defeated Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster in the first round on January 15th. Fabian Archner and Marcel Barthel of Imperium in the semifinals on January 22nd, and grizzled young veterans James Drake and Zach Gibson in the finals on January 29th to win the tournament and earn a match against Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly. Of the undisputed era for the NXT Tag Team Championship at NXT TakeOver versus Portland. At the event on February 16th, Riddle and Dunn defeated Fish and O'Reilly to win the titles, making Riddle's first title win in WWE. When Dunn couldn't travel to the United States because of the COVID-19 pandemic, he picked Timothy Thatcher as his replacement for Riddle's partner. Riddle and Thatcher would lose the titles against Imperium Fabian Aichner and Marcel Barthel on May 13th episode of NXT after Thatcher walked out on him. On May 27th episode of NXT, Riddle and Thatcher fought in a fight pit match with WWE Hall of Famer Kurt Angle as the special guest referee, where Riddle's lost to Thatcher by technical submission. This would turn out to be Riddle's last match in NXT. To be continued. For Wrestling News Now, I'm Todd Tanner.